Now, since we're in the active, Jesus. We definitely didn't really clear that snowbank that gracefully, but that's fine. I'm not gonna go crazy, but welcome back, everyone. It's Dave from Bove Drives, and today we're taking a look at the 2022 Chevy Trailblazer Active All-Wheel Drive. This starts at around $26,000 MSRP, US dollars, of course. This is the active trim, as mentioned, which comes with the 1.3-liter turbocharged 3-cylinder engine, made it to an additional $1,500 option of all-wheel drive and a 9-speed automatic transmission. Let's take a walk around. We'll do a drive, check out this Chevy Trailblazer, and I just completed the morning drive. I'm going to try something different, morning drive versus night drive, but also it's snowing. It was way too snowy last night to do a night drive safely in a rental vehicle. I'm pretty surprised by the Trailblazer. This powertrain is pretty nice, pretty fuel efficient, makes good torque, not gonna blow your socks off, but the resonance is very warm and nice. So let's give the Chevy Trailblazer some love. This is a very competitive segment with the likes of the Mazda CX-30, Hyundai Kona, Kia Niro, the compact SUV crossover segment. And let's give this one some love because design standpoint, it's very good looking, aside from maybe that antenna in the rear, and it's cheap. Everything's going so expensive nowadays. It's nice to see Chevy offering a good option in this price range. So the Active is perfect for this kind of weather. Weather. So we get an off-road tuned suspension, skid plates, some all-terrain tires. I think I'm missing one more thing, but it is blacked out a little bit in some areas, but if you notice this white on top, it's blacked out in the next trim, which is the RS, Active down there. But you do see the Chevy logo up front is blacked out. In terms of design, this kind of looks like a Chevrolet or GM version of a Bronco mixed with the Jeep. Actually, I lied about the blacked out badge. Anyways, we get LED lights, LED daytime running lights, and looks like fog lights maybe. Yeah, fog lights down there. We also get those, they functional? They kind of look like tow hooks. Interesting. But yeah, back to design. This kind of looks like a Chevy Camaro. It looks very corporate GM. Fits into the lineup alongside the Traverse, the Blazer, the Camaro, the Tahoe. But I think it looks attractive. This is painted in black mosaic metallic. Looks pretty good. We got black interior. Check that out in a bit. No power liftgate available. I believe that comes with the technology package. But you get class-leading rear cargo space behind the second row and interior space. This is a much more usable, much more family-friendly, you know, small family, single couple family in the city usable space. Look at that, a lot of space. The numbers up on the screen, the exact cargo space, but this is definitely better than a CX-30. The Hyundai Kona was refreshed, and it's been refreshed so many times. So you do get a little bit more space in that one, but this is very usable, very comfortable, and you get a spare tire. Good loading floor. I like that. It's a flat, flush surface. Very easy. Grab handles. Close that up. Nice and easy. An attractive, off-road looking, boxy subcompact. It's harmless. It's easy. Take a look at this interior in a bit, but it looks good. Looks good. It's not too bad. Let's take a look at that 3-cylinder turbocharged engine, the 1.3 liter. Hopefully I can open this much easier than usual. Heavy hood. Look at that little guy placed in there. 1.3 liter, 3-cylinder turbocharged engine. Makes about 154 horsepower. Sorry, 155 horsepower, 174 pound-feet of torque. All-wheel drive. Drives all 4 wheels. You get a 2-wheel drive and a 4-wheel drive mode. Interesting, very trucky. And it's powered by a 9-speed automatic transmission. Gets about 26 MPG in the city, 30 MPG on the highway. Makes a good noise, makes good torque. Pretty fuel efficient for the size. Oh, forgot the back seat. But yeah, pretty fuel efficient for the size of car. And doesn't sound too bad. I've owned 4 cylinders and they're the thing these days, and it sounds kind of like half of a 6-cylinder, which it is. It's very warm resonance. Fold these seats back up. Check out the rear. Not bad. You get this synthetic leather. I believe came in the trim below this as standard. Anything I missed in terms of options and availability, I will list out in the description. So please refer to there so you know what came standard with the other trims and what is not. And what came in this trim. So sitting behind myself, 5'10", plenty of headroom. This tall roofline very much helps in terms of space. You're gonna get a little more body roll and handling sacrifices, but that's not the kind of car this is. Plastic materials all around. Not the best quality. They're not really, there's no fit or finish issues, but $26,000, I'm not gonna complain. You do get some leather on the back, synthetic, of course. Door pocket storage, 2 cup holders. I won't complain. Very nice. We'll do a quick half walk around, get this puppy on the road after we take a look at that interior. It's not offensive. I like the diamond cut wheels. You do get keyless entry. No power adjustments on the passenger side, but you do get power adjustment here and lumbar as well. Wireless charging, I believe. Wireless Apple CarPlay is actually standard in the base trim, which is kind of sweet to see in a budget-oriented mainstream vehicle. So, let's check out those interior materials. Heated leather steering wheel. Kind of get this jean material in the side of the door, very nice. Like this copper insert. You can find here and around the vents and on the door. Very nice. A little softer up here, but nothing to write home about. Everything feels very high quality though. These center stacks are always a little rickety. Not too much black chrome. You might scuff it up a little bit around the screen. And these seats are a little stiff, but I do like, again, that jean material to kind of touch it up a little bit. But they get the job done at this price range, these seats. Infotainment, I believe there's a larger infotainment, a Bose system available, which actually looks like we do. So we do have the digital gauge cluster, a larger infotainment screen, Bose audio. I know we have adaptive cruise control. We got blind spot monitoring. This infotainment system is pretty responsive. You can see, nice and easy to get through. We also get the other standards: forward collision, pedestrian, lane change assist, park assist, rear camera, etc. I like, in this infotainment, there's always a way to get back home, whether it's this physical button or this touchscreen button, because you can easily get the CarPlay, you can easily go to your settings, go to your climate menu, but you have physical control, so you don't even need a climate menu. Boom, back to the home screen. Yeah, it's pretty easy to use. You get volume and skip forward knob, power off, heated seats, very nice. And while we're still here, Going down, we have all-wheel drive button, as mentioned. Lane keep assist, kind of hard to see. The auto start stop, turn off button. Traction control, leave that on. Sport mode with this racing flag. I switched it over to reserve, but we do get this nice gear selector. And you get a reverse camera with movable lines. Parking brake. Good amount of storage in the center. With cup holders. Got some storage down here as well. Then center arm storage, you got like a coin holder up here. And then very deep storage underneath. Last but not least, center screen, physical tachometer, speedometer, all that good stuff. You get lots of different simple screens to scroll through here. It's a little bit slow, but lots of information. We're averaging 25 MPG in this car in the last trip, so pretty in line with those numbers. A little bit more city. This is a rental, so you can use your PSI, which again is kind of nuts to see on a car of this price range when cars like an Audi don't even have it. So other than that, let's take this on a drive. We'll talk more about it. Start off in two-wheel drive. Traction control cutting as we skid around a little bit. Fun. Now, since we're in the active, Jesus. We definitely didn't really clear that snowbank that gracefully, but that's fine. That's fine. So starting off, I immediately like the resonance, the sound, the torque of this 3-cylinder engine. I don't know why 3 cylinders are so odd, but they're popping up a lot more between like the Chevy Trax, which is a sibling to this car, the Trailblazer this, and like the GR Corolla. And they're doing okay considering they're a smaller engine block and they can still keep up with their 4 cylinders. Maybe not on the high performance, but it doesn't sound offensive. It sounds a little bit gruff. Steering is light, virtually no feel, and a very odd weight to it. But this is a simple car. The steering wheel feels nice in the hand. Got some sport grips up top. You actually get, on where you'd have paddle shifters, you get like a volume up down on the right and then a track forward and back on the left. So that's kind of cool. Make use of that real estate when you don't have paddle shifters because you don't really need it. Now, into this corner, a little bit of braking. These brakes are, they're kind of not my favorite. Driving around a parking lot yesterday, just like positioning the car, I slammed on the brakes. Not even slammed, I breathed on them, and it slammed the car stop. And the performance is very hit or miss on these brakes. Whoop. Do not hit the brakes when you're going off-road, people, like I just did. As I'm talking about them, I use them. Yeah, no, the brake performance, there's no easy way to modulate it. They're very sensitive. It's very odd. Throw us into all-wheel drive, get a little bit extra power distribution. Gonna help a little bit more on these hills. Not gonna help with this braking and cornering. Let's just take it nice and easy. Yeah, I was reading reviews that this suspension was a little firm, a little bit too rough for a car of this type, especially with that extra. So you have to get off the brakes. A little bit extra off-road goodies, but I don't think it's too bad. Now this all-wheel drive system is a little bit front biased, so on the power you definitely feel a little bit of a torque steer. It just is really there to send power as needed when it senses wheel slip. It's not any form of performance GM all-wheel drive, or you know, any of the likes of that. Yeah, that sounds very nice. A little bit light throttle. Torque band is pretty smooth. The shifts from this 9-speed are quite imperceptible. Picks the right gear when you're applying power, it downshifts into it. No problem. I'm thoroughly impressed with this car. Powertrain. And that noise, it's gruff, it's low. It's not offensive like most four-cylinders, and it's kind of sad to say that four-cylinders are making their way into luxury products, which is fine, but they just don't give that extra refinement. I don't think a three-cylinder would be cut out for the jobs of those cars. Like, alright, we're heading to our usual performance turn. See how auto start-stop does. Pretty smooth, not too intrusive. Throw into sport mode, get the checkered flag. Not gonna go crazy, but not bad, not bad. It reminds me, and I don't know if there's any sound pumping in it. It reminds me of like a 6-cylinder EcoBoost from Ford. It's got that a little bit of a whine, a little bit of a brrr, brrr. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. We'll get onto the highway. All right, the VH is T-posing on us. So we're on the highway, switch it back to two-wheel drive. Not the quietest cabin, but it's pretty comfortable, very smooth. We get adaptive cruise control. You could set with this side over here. I think it tells you if you want adaptive cruise control or not. You can turn it off with this and just set it to regular cruise control. Obviously there's some rain, so it's hard to gauge the wind noise, but I would say definitely a little bit more road noise from those all-terrain wheels and tires, and not too much wind from like a panel gap or whatever. It's not terrible though, it's pretty good. Even with the hatch in the rear, you're not getting too much extra NVH into the cabin. Lane keeping assist telling me I'm shifting over without turning on my signal. So overall, I'm pleasantly surprised by the powertrain of this Trax, and I'm very happy about that price point. I think for a lot of people this would be a very affordable one-car solution for a small family. But yeah, a growing small family, a young couple in the city, this would be a great car. It's pretty well pointed, not really much you'd be missing. You got a heated steering wheel, you got heated seats, you got adaptive cruise. Got a good powertrain, pretty fuel efficient for 26 grand. Now there are some pretty stiff competition in the space. You got the Hyundai Kona, in my opinion, and the Mazda CX-30. So the Hyundai Kona, when you're not looking at the end line, is pretty in line with this in terms of powertrains. It's made to a CVT, so personally I would take the 9-speed automatic in this over that. The Kona plays the value game pretty well, and the technology Hyundai always implements at every level, and availability of options probably would supersede this. And in terms of dynamics, I would say this and the Kona are a little bit more in line. They're pretty soft, but they're pretty floggable at the same time just because of their size. The Kona is available in all-wheel drive up to the N line, and then obviously with the Kona N you can go pretty wild. That I think like close to 278 horsepower, 4-cylinder, makes all the noise, the cracks and bangs. That is front-wheel drive only, but that's kind of a different animal. Sounds excellent. And the Kona probably loses on cargo space still. It's been refreshed like 2 times in the past couple of years. Refresh, redesign, all that good stuff. But I still think the Trailblazer takes the lead on practicality, cargo space, rear passenger space. Because our next competitor, the Mazda CX-30, definitely is way too small for most people. In the rear, in the cargo space, it's essentially like a lifted Mazda 3, which is a small sedan to begin with. But Mazda has 2 engine options, I think like a 192 and a 250 horsepower turbocharged version of a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder, and both those engines blow this out of the water. I think it's a 6-speed and an 8-speed transmission automatic, so very, very good, very smooth transmissions and very good power. Mazda's Sky Active all-wheel drive system is very good in delivering the power, and Mazda's steering, chassis tuning, and all that is to be centered around the driver. What is it, like driver and horse or something? So, and the Mazda is playing a pretty good value game, but it probably starts a couple grand more than this Trailblazer. So I think in those terms, the Mazda would definitely be like the luxury pick. But that's because it has such a nice interior. The infotainment's a little tougher to use. Hyundai and Chevy definitely have a more user-friendly infotainment, touchscreen versus the scroll dial. But I think the CX-30 in that base engine form would probably be a better contender than these two. Mazda would probably be a little more reliable. Obviously, Hyundai has a long-term warranty, so you really have to drive and test these all out. And just don't take my word for it, but that's my 2 cents. But this is a very good entry, and a very surprising one. And that 3-cylinder. A little slow to downshift there. Sport mode doesn't really fix it, but with that being said, hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope everyone gives it a like and considers subscribing. Really appreciate all you do, and I will see you on the next one. To do.